Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio, episode 88. I'm April Perry, and here at Learn, Do, Become, we help people who are drowning in the details of their personal and professional lives to create simple systems so we can do what matters most. Now, you are joining lesson 5 of our step-by-step home organizing party. There are 9 lessons. They're embedded into our podcast. That's why today is episode number 88. But if you have not yet joined our party and you're wondering what these 9 foundational steps are, and you want to get the worksheet and the bonuses and the resources we put together to make this really simple, have everything linked on one foundational page, and provide you that training, support, and encouragement, make sure you sign up at learndobecome.com/party. Because it is a party and we are here to celebrate you and getting everything totally clear and clean and amazing in your home, your office, your family, and your life. Today we're talking about the 3-box method of getting organized. Now, if you've been with us here at Learn, Do, Become for a while, you know that we've talked about this before. It's a very, very simple way to streamline and get clarity and order and peace around your whole house or office or throughout your life. Now, there are lots of ways you can streamline. This isn't the only way to do it, but this is the way that I love. And so I'm going to share how this works, and then you can adapt it to fit your needs. In our previous podcast, episode 87, our team member Jill sat down with me and we talked about how you map out a step-by-step plan for organizing each area of your home. So if you have not completed that, you'll want to do that prior to just jumping in and doing this 3-box method. But this method we're going to talk about is going to be extremely helpful for you to take each of your prioritized areas or prioritized projects and get them moving forward. Now, the goal, as I've been using the word streamline, that's the goal, streamline, not just organize. If you have tons of stuff and you're feeling inundated and crowded, we don't just want to organize what we already have. We want to streamline it first because then it makes it so simple to put things back where they go and to be able to have space in your life. And visually and mentally, you're going to feel the benefits of creating this space. So what I'm going to share first started about 20 years ago. I'm going to tell you a little story about when I was living in so much clutter. Now, I'd grown up in piles and piles of stuff. So we were raised in a home where I was never taught to declutter. I really don't even know if I ever cleared out my drawers, and I don't even know how the clothes that were too small for me ended up getting out of my room. Really, I had piles. Like I had a desk in my bedroom when I was, 11 until I left the home when I was 18. And I don't think I ever once sat at the desk. It just had tons of clothes and boxes and stacks of things. And my entire room was just embarrassing. I never really had anyone in my room. I would try to clean it and organize it, but it just got so overwhelming and I just never knew how to clean and organize. So 20 years ago, I was married to Eric and we just had our first baby. And we just left college. We'd both graduated the same day, finished up college, took our baby, and moved to California. And then Eric was working and I was home with our baby. And I was moving piles around all the time. I was trying to move things around from the kitchen into the bedroom, and Eric would leave things on the counter, and then I didn't want them on the counter, so I would just move the piles, and he'd come home and say, "Where are my books? Where are my papers?" And I'd say, "Oh, I don't know, I put them somewhere in the bedroom," because I just didn't want the piles everywhere. And I was moving things all over the place and just feeling like there was so much, and I was constantly cleaning. It felt like all I was doing was just cleaning up, which was really demoralizing and felt really overwhelming. Well, then there was one day where I was at my mother-in-law's house and she had a book called It's Here Somewhere. And I opened the book and just was flipping through it. And I had never read a decluttering book before. And as I read it, my mind opened to how I could streamline, how I could get rid of so much stuff. Everything that was being called out in the book, I had. Like, for example, she was talking about having an old stereo that didn't work. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, back in our storage closet in our little apartment, I have an old CD player I got when I was 12, and the CDs don't work anymore, but the radio still does, and the tape player still does, so I'll just keep it just in case. But we already had a different CD player. I didn't even need that one anymore. It was things like that. Or I still had my prom dress, which I know part of me is like, oh, it'd be great to keep my prom dress, but I wasn't going to wear it again, and it wasn't going to be in style by the time my children were wanting it, and I didn't love it that much. So I just took a picture of it and I was able to donate that. So as I read this book and learned about how to streamline, it changed my whole perspective on what was needed or wasn't needed. We also have a podcast from our archives or here on Learn, Do, Become Radio that I recorded with Julie Morgenstern, who has been on Oprah and on Katie Couric's show, and she's guest posted everywhere and written amazing books all about decluttering. She's fantastic. And she really helped me as well to recognize that when you keep a lot of stuff, it's typically for psychological reasons. And she helped me learn that letting go of things often was about letting go of maybe some expectations that we had or hopes that we had, and being able to take care of those feelings and then let go of the stuff that's weighing us down. So we'll link to that podcast as well on the show notes page. I will just note, show notes are always at learndobecome.com/ and then episode and the number. So it's episode, the word episode, and then 88. That's where you'll find all the links for today's podcast. So the goal is to be able to establish a pattern for our lives. Because right now I want you to ask yourself, how many habits or relationships or expectations are you holding on to right now where you know you need to let go? What you see around you in your office or your bedroom or your kitchen is often a symbol of how you hold on to other things in your life. And so what I'm encouraging you to do is have grace for yourself, be gentle with yourself, and to make a commitment that you're going to transform your life. Now, I'm going to walk through this 3-box method in just a moment, but I also just want to connect this idea of cleaning and organizing with the opportunity that we have to connect with a higher power. Now, regardless of whether you are religious or not, every spiritual teaching I've ever learned has emphasized space, creating space, freeing ourselves of clutter, and being able to have clear areas in our homes where we can connect with our higher power, or being able to go out in nature and feel unfettered. That's a really common thing. I had an amazing neighbor when we lived in California who was Muslim, and she would get out her prayer rug and she would have a nice clean space in her home where she would pray 5 times a day. And I loved seeing her prioritize that cleanliness and having that space where she could connect, right, with her higher power. In the Christian faith, they discuss prayer closets a lot, right, where it talks about entering into your closet. When you shut the door, you can pray, right? It's really common in a lot of faiths to have space where we can connect with our higher power. But how can we pour out our souls in our closets? Or how can we have a space to connect with a higher power if there is no space, if we have clutter everywhere? Really, this impacts us on not just a physical level, but on a spiritual level and on a family level and in all other areas of our lives. So what we're talking about today is not just about how to organize a drawer or how to organize a closet, though we do have podcasts on that. I can link to those as well. But it's about how we're going to streamline and clear things out and create space. So when we walk around our homes and our offices, we feel good. I recognize there are a lot of hard things that need to be done sometimes. Right now, I'm thinking about some hard conversations that I need to have. It kind of weighs me down. Feels a little overwhelming. There are often things that need to change or need to improve, or there are necessary endings, things that need to happen. That's the book by Henry Cloud I love. But my goal is to help each one of us to be able to make these decisions wisely, to streamline and make it feel awesome. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump into more of the how-to part of today's podcast. So once we've done the step that we already discussed in lesson number 4, where we created a very simple prioritized list, either using something like just Post-it notes on a piece of cardboard or paper list, or something like Asana, that's our free software that we love so much here at Learn to Become. Once you have this prioritized list of the areas that you want to organize, it's really helpful to just create a little calendar or a plan. And it doesn't have to be for the whole month. You could do that, or you could just create it for that week, or even just for the next couple days, however far out you can see in the future without feeling overwhelmed. But creating a very simple plan with a calendar trigger that reminds you when you want to update the plan or pursue it for the following week or the following month or something like that. So what I do is I have a little spot in my planner. I use a Franklin planner, which I love, and we can link to all my favorite planning supplies on the post as well. So go to the show notes page for that. But on the back of my monthly planning tabs, there's a little place for a master task list. So what I do is I just write down, hey, what are the places I want to organize in our home this month? And I just create a little list there inside my planner on paper. Now, I could also put it inside of Asana, and sometimes I do that, but it's so flexible, and this is how you will best work. The kind of list or the kind of project management software that works for you is the one you will actually use, okay? So there's no specific rule, and you get to break the rules. You get to decide exactly how you do it. The point is it needs to work. So it really works well for me to just use the back of those paper calendar sheets, because I don't use the calendar, I use a Google Calendar, but I have these little sheets and I just like to write down, okay, I'd like to clean the game closet, I'd like to clean my office closet, I'd like us to work on the garage, just the shelves, the ones that are right by the garage door, and I divide that into pieces, but I have just a few things that I want to organize over the month. Now, I could also take a couple of those or one of those and put them onto my weekly next actions list. You can see that if you want to take my planner tour. I've got pictures and all that stuff. The whole site's ready for you, but we'll include links so you can see what that looks like. But I just create a very simple list. So that week, I know which spaces I would like to organize, okay? So then once you've had time to actually look at your calendar, look at your week, and decide how much you're planning to do or you like to do that week, now you've got a pretty simple plan ready for you. I do want to acknowledge that this is often exhausting work. Like when you're sorting through a closet there was one I just sorted through a couple weeks ago, and I hadn't looked in there for 3 years. We moved 3 years ago to a new home, and we put all of my office things into this one closet. And it's a pretty good sized closet. I just haven't looked in it for 3 years. And I knew everything was safe. It was nothing active, no active projects in there, but I hadn't looked. So as I pulled it out, there was a lot that I needed to think through and identify, okay, is this where I want this? Is there anything I want to do with this at this point? Is this the best place to keep it if I want my children to be able to access it, right? Things like that. And so as you are cleaning and organizing, if you are inundated, like I was when I first started, you may want to go more slowly because it might require more emotional energy than you have. But if you're not really inundated and you feel like, oh, things are pretty good, I just need to do a little spruce up, then that's fine. You could actually probably do one little area a day and just keep going. So it depends on where you're starting. It won't look the same for everyone. When I interviewed Jill and the last podcast, episode 87, and she talked about all the things that she did to organize. I mean, she's working at a very high level. She already had a very high level of organization. She's got her Step Command Central in place. She's got really good routines going. Her family's got some good schedules already put together, a lot of help there. So perhaps she could move a little bit faster than maybe I could, or maybe some other of our community members could, given maybe some constraints or some other responsibilities or, some other things going on. So we're not here to compare ourselves to anyone. It's just a matter of deciding, okay, given my level of energy, my understanding of what to do with all the tasks that are going to come out of this project, the amount of help that I have, all of those factors, we want to put together something that feels really good on our calendar. All right, now let's go ahead and just talk about the 3 boxes. What is this 3-box method? So whenever I organize a section, let's say it's a drawer or a closet or an area of the garage, maybe I'll just use the garage as my example for right now because that's an area I do need to organize. First of all, we're going to pull everything out of that one area that we are organizing. Now, the shelf that I'm talking about is where we store our extra paper towels and tissue boxes and toilet paper. We also have beach towels there, and we have just a few additional boxes of random supplies and things, okay? And it's on this nice big shelf, but it often gets cluttered and people throw things on it. I found like a pretty much empty container of licorice. Someone had stuck out there and hidden because they didn't want anyone else to eat the licorice. Anyway, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull everything out, right? Now we're only going to put back the things that belong there, the things that we go to that spot to find, if that's the ideal place. Now for us, that works great for additional toilet paper and tissues and paper towels. It's great for that. And as far as extra beach towels go, when we give our dog a shower or we need a towel for the backyard or we're going to go swimming or something, yes, that works great. So those things I will put back there. But if there are other things in the space, which I know there are, and I can't even think of what they are right now, then we're going to use these 3 boxes for those things. Now, they don't have to be boxes. They could be baskets. They could be trash bags. They could be piles. It doesn't matter. It's just we need some way to distinguish one pile from the next. So a box is kind of one standard way you could do it. So one is just trash. And as you go through every closet, drawer, room, shelf has some trash on it usually. So we're going to trash or recycle, right? And so that's one box. Next box are things that we're going to donate. I think having a big place to put things to donate is a beautiful thing. And so I want you to be able to think, oh, who else could use this? How could I gift this to someone else? And donate generously because there are so many things that we don't use, but we hold on to because they're valuable. Let's donate those. And then the third box is called to put somewhere else. Now, you don't run around and put them somewhere else at the moment. You just put them in a box and say, these things do not belong in this place, and we need to put them somewhere else. So those are the 3 boxes, and it makes it so simple. Then what we do is we take the trash and recycle and put those in the bins where they go. The things to donate, we put them into one place where all donations are kept together until we can take them to deliver them to the drop-off location. And then the things that go somewhere else, what I typically do is I distribute those to the appropriate places before I go to bed that night. So I ask myself, if I were to go looking for this item, where would I look? And then I put it in that location. Now, if it's going to go in a cupboard that also needs to be cleaned and you're like, oh, I don't want to just stuff it in the cupboard, you just set it next to the cupboard until you're able to go and do the 3-box method for that one as well. And then as you pull everything out, you're going to donate and trash and put somewhere else. And then you'll put that item that you set next to it inside. The idea is that when you go through your home or office step by step, and do this little process and you break things down into small sections, eventually you're going to get through the whole home or office and everything is going to have a place. Now I will pause for a moment because if you're thinking, well, what about my papers? Papers aren't quite as easy, and I understand that. I had someone just today send me an email or post a message on social media and they said, my problem is I can do like donate or trash or whatever with things like my kitchen cupboards, but when it comes to papers, it's not like that. 100%. That's why we have a STEP Command Central, because we're going to show you the flowchart and how to incubate and how to have current project support materials. And we're going to teach you what a tickler is. And we're going to give you a process that holds every single paper or idea or project and honors the nuances that are involved. So paperwork is handled a totally different way. That would go into your office area. And then when you build your Command Central, we're going to take you through all of that and show you how to process it. Right now, we're talking about the general areas, like a room or, closet door shelves, things like that. Okay? All right. So once you've had that calendar created, you understand how the 3-box method works, and perhaps you've gotten some baskets or bags or something like that, Then you're going to go through and get to work, and you're going to pick your first spot. Now, I want to share a quick story. I went to my friend Pam's house years ago. It was after I learned the 3-box method. I learned about how to streamline, how to declutter. I'd done my entire apartment. I filled our old Toyota Camry with plenty of stuff to donate, and I had our apartment so clean and so streamlined and so organized. I felt a lift that I had never felt in my whole life. My mom did not know how to do that, and that's why we lived in clutter. If she'd known, she would have done it, but she just didn't. So once I read that book and I went through and I did every cupboard, every drawer, everything in our entire apartment, I felt like that apartment doubled in size and my stress level went down. And I felt like, oh my goodness, I actually don't even need a bigger place to live. I just got myself extra square footage because it feels so amazing. So then I started going around to friends' houses and helping them do the same thing. But I want to talk about Pam and her kitchen because it was a little bit of a different process as far as the beginning when you are approaching something like a kitchen. Because if you're just going from drawer to drawer and room to room and just doing little sections, it's fine, but you typically want to start with a bigger vision. So I went to my friend Pam's house and I said, okay, where do you want to start? And she said, well, let's do the kitchen. And I said, okay, before we just start emptying your drawers and going through things like this, I want to just talk about what the vision is for your kitchen. What kinds of activities do you do in here and what's working and what's not? So she said, well, I really like to bake, but right now I've got my mixer and things like this right here, but then all my baking supplies are way over here, and the kids like to get their snacks, but they've got the, cups and things like that over here, and they really make the snacks over here. And so we talked about what wasn't working, and we talked about what was working. She's like, yeah, I like this here, I like this here. I'm like, okay, great. So then we made a little map or a little plan for the kitchen and said, okay, well, what if we do all the baking stuff here and then we do some more of the cooking stuff here and we'll put the spices here. And we just made like a little map and said, would this be more functional for you? And once we found something that worked for her, and literally it took us like 15 minutes. We didn't spend a ton of time on it. We just created a little basic idea. Then what we started doing was opening the drawers and we started filling a pile of things to donate, things for the trash. Most of it didn't need to go somewhere else because most of the kitchen items she was either keeping or not. They didn't belong in the bathroom or something like that. But we coordinated, okay, here's what we're donating. Here's what we're getting rid of. We don't need 3 of these. We don't need 4 of these. We really streamlined and made it so simple. And then we just basically went around the kitchen clockwise and then started repositioning things. And by the end, we had piles and piles of stuff that she was ready to donate. Her kitchen felt more open. Her counters were clear. And it just felt so good and so fun. And I started going around doing that with so many people's kitchens. I was having a blast going over and just helping them streamline it and make it clean and organized. And some people wanted to keep things. I was working with one friend and I said, do you really need 5 vegetable peelers? And she's like, well, I think I do. Okay. So if you want to keep them all, that's fine. So I'm just sharing how this worked in a kitchen. The book, it's here somewhere. It's out of print, but it's on Amazon. You can get an old copy. It's so good. Really, I love it so much. And if you love the Marie Kondo method, where she doesn't go room by room, she just does things like all the clothes and then all the books and then all, papers. And she does it like that. That's fine. You can totally do it however you want. But what I do recommend is streamlining. We're getting rid of as much as possible and taking pictures of the things that we love that we don't want to forget. But we want to create beautiful, clear space. And as I've been going through my home, I, do this over and over again, kind of a spring cleaning. It doesn't take long anymore because most of the things that we have, we do want to keep, and we are good at getting rid of things throughout the year. But it feels so wonderful to be able to move around your home and office and not have any visual clutter calling out to you. Because what's happening is it's weighing you down. You might not even know it, but the fact of the matter is your brain has to scan and identify each item, and then it uses energy to say, is that where it's supposed to be? Is that where it's supposed to be? Does that need anything from me? Does that need anything from me? Like if the front of your refrigerator is covered with 18 pieces of paper, every time you go to the refrigerator, your brain is scanning all of it and saying, oh wait, hang on, do I need to do anything with any of this? Which takes energy. Or what happens is you become numb to the piles and they start kind of fading into the background like blurriness. And then you don't do anything on them and you start just feeling like these are just the piles. It just becomes this amorphous blob, and that's not what we want, right? So what I want you to be able to do is walk around your home or office, have everything just clear, streamlined, simple, as empty as possible. So as you're walking around, you're not using any energy trying to identify what you need to be doing. We have worked with hundreds of thousands of people. And when we ask, how many of you have flat surface disease, where you just put something on a flat surface as a reminder to do something about it? Oh my gosh, people just crack up. They're like, that's me. I have flat surface disease. I put things on every flat surface so I don't forget. But then you know what that does to you. It's causing a stress that is weighing you down. And we're going to show you that you do not have to live that way. And I feel so passionately about this because I was raised with that for more than 18 years. When I went away to college and I had my own room, I remember my sophomore year of college, all my habits from growing up came with me to college. And I tried to clean, like I really did. I would try to organize and I would try to make my room clean, but I ended up with piles of clothes and piles of papers, and I just didn't know what to do with it. And I never want you to have to go through that. Okay. All right. So what we've talked about today is a very simple way to take your prioritized list from the last podcast, our lesson 4 of the party, how to start moving forward on that list by making a simple calendar for the week and identifying what you really can do given your bandwidth. And it might just be half of a drawer. Like you don't have to do the whole thing. It's what you can do, okay? You're going to use either that 3-box method or a method you like better, whatever it is that's going to help you streamline, get rid of things. But regardless of what method you use, you are going to be donating, you're going to be putting some things in the trash, and you are going to be moving some things to other places. And then the other items you're going to put back where they belong. If you need more on this, all I want you to do is come to our show notes page. That's learndobecome.com/88. I'm going to link to a post where we outline the 3-box method. I show you how I use it with my reading basket. Really simple example. I took pictures through the whole thing, showed you how I did it. We also have a podcast on a clean a drawer challenge. Super simple, walk you through exactly how you do that. And you might think like, really? There's a whole podcast on cleaning a drawer? Yes, because it's amazing. We'll show you how to do it. I also have a podcast on how I clean my closet. And I'm going to show you the nuances, why it feels overwhelming. It's not because cleaning a closet's overwhelming. It's because you feel like you're opening Pandora's box and all these new decisions need to be made. So we're going to show you that. I'll also link to my planner tour, my planner resources. You just kind of get a feel for how we work here. As you listen to our podcast and as you hang out at Learn to Become, you're going to learn we start talking about the same types of things. This isn't super complicated. It's a very simple system that I've been using now for more than 10 years, like 12 years. It has changed my life because I have my Step Command Central in place, because I have things streamlined. I have never had a pile in my life that has lasted for more than like a day in 12 years. We've been able to coordinate a move. I've had a concussion and surgeries and craziness. Said goodbye to both of my parents. Eric and I started a business. We're raising 4 children. We're very involved in the community. We've had ups and downs and chaos and craziness and all those things because we're human too. But I don't have piles in my life. And what that does is it gives me the bandwidth to manage the challenges and to manage those things that feel hard, and then to identify what I can do to control some of it. And I want you to be able to have that power because there's no reason for us to ever feel like we're victims. There's always something that we can do to become stronger, more resilient, to be able to take initiative, to build our drive, to have a positive influence in the world, in our families, in our lives. And I know how it feels to go through heartache. I know how it feels to make mistakes and to not know how to fix them. I know how it feels to wake up in the morning and not even want to get out of bed. I totally get it. And I've had my fair share of those days. But I don't feel those feelings of frustration and despair anymore. Now I feel excited each day because there are opportunities that each one of us can take advantage of to make a difference in the world. So I would love for you to come to the show notes page, just check out the links. You don't need to be all stressed out or anything. We're just here to support you, but we're helping you because this lesson number 5, this is where you're going to start feeling the giddiness and that celebration. You're going to feel the party start really happening in your life. Oh my goodness, you're going to want balloons. You're going to want to just feel so amazing. And you're going to be so happy to be here with us at the party. We'd love for you also to share this with your friends because you know what? If we have time right now to get organized, let's do it. And we're going to help you and support you with that here at Learn, Do, Become. So I would love for you even just to take one little spot and just practice the 3-box method. You could totally do that. Just take like a little drawer or a little nightstand or just something and just practice the 3-box method and see what you think about it. You think about like planting a seed and see, does it sprout? Does it produce fruit? Do you like it? And then if you're thinking, this is amazing, let's do this again, then you're going to start seeing the fruits of it all over your entire home and office. Now, part of the party is that we have a special bonus that goes with each lesson. So for this bonus, we have a special audio that I actually recorded with the author of that book. It's here somewhere years ago, and I'm pulling it out of the archives. It was just for members of my Mind Organization for Moms program that I used to run. Now we're bringing that back, and we're going to have it here for our Learn, Do, Become members. So when you sign up for the party, we send you a link to the party homepage. And when you go to the homepage, we have all of these podcasts organized, plus all of the worksheets and audios and videos and things that we've created as supplements to it. You have lifetime access to them. You're never behind. It's not a ton of stuff. It's just a little bit extra for you. And if you are not yet in our Steps to Everyday Productivity program, come in. We're doing a deep dive coaching each week, going deeper into the topic that we discuss on the podcast in the lessons. So come into that. You also get the recordings of those coachings. It's so fun. And we have almost 11,000 people, as I'm recording this right now, who are in the Facebook group. It's pretty awesome. If you have not yet taken our free training to learn about our STEP program, learndobecome.com/step is the URL where you can sign up for the free class. We also just put it on our homepage. So just go to learndobecome.com. You'll see it. We'll put it on the show notes page. It's all over the place. Okay. So learndobecome.com/step is how you sign up for our free introductory class to learn about a Command Central. And yes, the party is going on to help people prepare for the Command Central. And we're deep diving into each of these party lessons for those who've already built their Command Centrals, because this is something that we can always just keep refining and learning from and having a great time, okay? Now, one final thing. I know I've kind of given you guys a lot, so I don't want to overwhelm you, but I want to give you enough that you understand what we're doing and how to do it. Okay, so I'll back up for just a second. Show notes page has everything. So if you're like, just give me one place to go, then it's learndobecome.com/episode 88. Okay, everything will be on there. It's really basic. That free class I mentioned, learndobecome.com/step, that's the one we've had hundreds of thousands of people go through. Our STEP program is like the product that we offer here at Learn, Do, Become. It's a program training. It's amazing. The STEP Mastery program, that's our highest level program that we have here. And we have an exclusive Facebook group, and that's where we're doing those trainings. If you're thinking, I want to join Step Mastery, you can join at full price. There's a link on our homepage. Join anytime you want. We do have our best offer through that free class, okay, the /step one. But if you've already attended the free class and you just didn't join, and you would like our current best offer, if you go to learndobecome.com/best offer, you can put in your name and email, and we will apply the tags to your account and give you a special link where you can come in with our webinar offer without having to go through the whole webinar again. It's like a 24-hour offer. You can only do it once, but if you want to do it sometime, you can, okay? So that's available for you, learndobecome.com/best offer. Our main goal is for you to be able to see results in your life. You've come to us because you're overwhelmed by the details. You maybe don't like the clutter on your desk. You maybe want some way to handle your papers. You maybe feel like, I'm never going to get organized because it's too hard. Guarantee you it's not too hard. I never learned these things growing up. I was the girl with the really, really dirty room. piled high with stuff, who had no idea what to do and no idea there was hope and no idea there was a different way to live. I watched my mom live in piles and have clutter her entire life. And she blamed herself and thought it was a problem with her. It wasn't, just that she didn't know. And now that we have the internet and we have the ability to share best practices, we get to learn from one another and share what's actually working. And that's why we're having this party. I want you to know that no matter how overwhelming your life may feel, there is hope and relief that's available for you. I'm here to support you and help you however I can, the best way I can, and I'm grateful for you being here. So have an amazing day, and we will see you soon at learndobecome.com.